Yo gamers, what is good? Welcome back to our Switch 2 countdown video series. We are one freaking week away from this MF. I am so hyped, but we still got 2 years to cover. Now, truth be told gamers, I was slacking a little bit. I got behind. We're supposed to have covered 2023 and 2024 this week by now, but I haven't put out the video for 2023, so you're getting a 2-for-1 today. We are going to cover 2023, the 7th year for the Nintendo Switch, and 2024, the 8th year for the Nintendo Switch in today's retrospective video. So let's just get right into it with March of 2023, Bayonetta, Cereza plus the Lost Demon? That's the first time I've ever said that name out loud, so that gives you a good idea for how much I know about this game. Look, I've never played a Bayonetta title. I own 3. I haven't picked up the first 2 yet, although I want to at some point in the future, and I do want to get around to playing them. They don't really look like my type of games, but I think I can appreciate what they're trying to do. It's kind of funny. Like, of all series to get a spin-off, freaking Bayonetta got one before, like, Splatoon, before, well, Pikmin, I guess, unless you count the Hey Pikmin, and, like, a lot of other Nintendo series, so it's just kind of random that freaking Bayonetta got a spin-off. And I have to say, even though I have not picked up this game, it actually looks kind of cool. I feel like it might be something I'm a little more interested in. The art style kind of gives me Okami vibes, so, yeah, maybe it's a good game, maybe it's not, I don't know. But moving along, we have a game that I was pretty disappointed by, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Now, this game was supposed to release in December of 2021, a year and a half before it actually came out, but it was delayed first to, I guess, give it a little more time to polish up, and then it was delayed a second time because a global war broke out. So basically, the lesson we've learned is whenever an Advance Wars game is about to come out, run. There's something is going to happen in the world, because if you guys don't know, I think it was the first one on the GBA was released like right before 9/11, or it was supposed to be released around then, and so now we got this one right during the time that Russia and Ukraine started a war. So basically this is just an omen, this series, and you know what, that's not even the worst part of it. The worst part is the games suck. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. But I really wanted to like this game. I love the Fire Emblem titles, and this looked like a fun, supplementary SRPG. It looked a little more goofy, a little more lighthearted. I was super excited to try it out, and I was just very disappointed. For starters, the presentation is not great. I've talked about this in the past, but I feel like Nintendo's approach to remakes during the Switch era has basically turned into, let's try to make this game the exact same that it was, but if we had modern technology. We see examples of this with A Link Between Worlds, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and now Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, and there's actually going to be another game coming out later this year that also shows it off pretty well. And look, this approach can either yield very beautiful and very polished and kind of like a miniature toy-esque result, or it can look super lazy and soulless and uninspired. And, basically the great contrast is A Link Between Worlds, which looks wonderful and full of life, and then, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that just looks absolutely horrendous. I feel like, sadly, this game is closer to Pokemon than Zelda. It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't have the weight, it doesn't have the final layer of, refinement and polish that Nintendo games usually have. And maybe that's because this was actually developed by WayForward, an indie studio, which, like, that's awesome for them. I mean, how cool is that? You're a group of like 20 dudes, and Nintendo's just like, yo, take the reins to one of our dormant series, right? Like, that's kind of awesome. So it is great for them. And I also kind of have to, with that perspective in mind, I can't be super harsh on the presentation, but it doesn't look great. It has a bit of lag, at least when I played it. And I think my biggest issue is just that the units all look so similar. I wish there was a little bit more visual variation, because they all just kind of look like the same general red block or blue block, or, red block with a gray accent to show that it's a tank or a powerful tank or whatever. I don't know. It was a little confusing for me to kind of wrap my head around all these things. I also just felt like the story was not as funny as I was hoping it would be. I mean, it is lighthearted, but I was expecting more of just like a pure, wacky, chaotic tale, and it's like, it kind of takes itself a little more seriously than I was expecting, and I don't think that really works well with the art style they've chosen or just the general vibe, right? Like, these aren't really people killing each other. These, I know they're going to war, but they're basically just scaring each other away, or, you know, blasting off like in Pokemon anime, right? Like Team Rocket. So I don't know, it feels weird to talk about like it's a very serious, you know, geopolitical war when it's just, you know, like little toy figures. I don't know. I was a little disappointed. I also felt the gameplay was just not that interesting. It felt like a much more shallow version of Fire Emblem. Maybe I'll have to try it again. I did put in an honest 10 hours to it, and I just kind of gave up. But maybe I'll have to go back one of these days and try it out. Alrighty, but the next game, holy frick, man. I had, just like many other people, insanely high expectations for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to the game that defined this generation of gaming, Breath of the Wild. In fact, it's no exaggeration to say that this was the most anticipated game of the year and one of the most anticipated titles of this generation. There was so much hype and discussion and energy surrounding this title. And I have to say, I don't think the marketing was super great for this game, right? Like, I think Nintendo had that super exciting reveal at E3 2019. We didn't see the game again for 2 years later, and it was a little bit underwhelming. It was like a 30-second trailer, like a teaser trailer at E3 2021, and we still didn't have the name, so that was kind of like, bro, are you kidding me? Not only that, but it did look fairly similar to Breath of the Wild. And then we started to get more about this game from the September 2022 Direct onwards. And that's where we got the official name and the release date. But it still looked kind of too similar, to be honest. It looked very much like Breath of the Wild expansion content. And hey, to be fair, that's what the game started as. But it was a little bit like, bro, we've been waiting, what, 6 years now? And it's basically just an expansion pass. So Nintendo finally got their act together right before the game came out. In April 2023, they had a gameplay presentation with Mr. Aonuma, which was great. I think that did a lot to show you the mechanics in this title. And they really kind of gave us an idea of where the development efforts were spent for this sequel. And then they followed that up with definitely the best trailer for the game. It was very much trying to evoke the same feelings as the 2017 January Nintendo Switch presentation trailer for Breath of the Wild. This one was trailer 3 for Tears of the Kingdom. It was awesome. They got it. You know, it was looking a little bit like, I don't know, is this really gonna be that cool? But they course corrected in April, a month before the game came out, and all the energy was back. And then all of a sudden, it's like all these retards on YouTube have their, you know, hot take contrarian videos ready to release the day the game comes out. Because I swear, it wasn't even like a week after the title's released, and I just see all of these videos on my YouTube algorithm that's like, Tears of the Kingdom sucks, man. Like, this is the biggest disappointment ever. Like, Nintendo didn't learn anything from Breath of the Wild. All these super exaggerated titles, very, you know, hyperbolic. And I just have to say, you guys are insane. I mean, it's one thing to have criticisms of this title, but to go out and say this is a bad game, I'm sorry, you just look actually insane. You cannot convince any normal person that Tears of the Kingdom is a bad game. Right? Like, you might have your own personal reservations, and I get it. Some people still yearn for the more traditional 3D Zelda progression system, which is kind of funny because it's like, for years, people were kind of pushing Nintendo to break away from that, you know, that kind of climax in Skyward Sword. But whatever, you know, people are always changing their opinions, right? I just think it was really ridiculous, the outrage to this game, the fake outrage. You know, Nintendo sucks, they didn't change anything. I'll make a whole video about this later because I am pretty passionate about it. But to me, I think that whatever problems you might have had with Breath of the Wild, which personally I didn't even really have many because I did appreciate that it was trying to do something new. I didn't want it to feel constricted to the old style. I feel like it maintained the spirit and the essence of Zelda while still doing something entirely original. I think Tears of the Kingdom not only greatly expanded upon the foundation that Breath of the Wild set, but it also directly addressed some of the critiques people had with that game. People say they wanted more of a story. Tears of the Kingdom has far more involved narratives, and I know people are like, oh, it sucks. I don't know, man. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was just as fine as Breath of the Wild for the majority of it. And more than the main story, I think where they really excelled were in the kind of regional catastrophes, right? Like each town has its own kind of problem going on, and you embark on this little mini arc for each city that you go to. And I feel like those stories were really interesting in this game. And the dungeons, well, yeah, this game has dungeons, right? Instead of having the Divine Beast, they brought back dungeons. And look, I'm not going to say that they're all the best dungeons ever made, but some of these are freaking banger. The Lightning Temple, the Wind Temple, and you know what? I might catch some flack for this. I even thought the Water Temple were all really good. I mean, the Water Temple was like an 8 out of 10. People hate on it. I thought it was fine. The only ones I was kind of mad on were the Fire Temple. And you know, I need to replay the Spirit Temple, because discovering that, oh, by the way, spoilers, there's a 5th one. Discovering that I thought was just the coolest thing in the world. My mind was blown. There was a whole another dungeon in the depths, but you know, I think it was pretty cool. It's kind of like a lot of segmented challenges, and it did culminate in a really awesome boss fight. So yeah, you know what? That's an 8 too. So I don't know why people are so quick to hate on this game. Again, you can have your critiques of it. I'm not saying you have to love the game, but I just think it's insane people are trying to act like it was a bad game, and then to have the audacity to say that it didn't try to address some of the problems. And I think if you're being, you know, if you're arguing in good faith, I do think it resolved a lot of the issues people had with Breath of the Wild. I don't know, man. I feel like the Nintendo fandom, at least in Western countries, is a lost cause. Like, this game really made me start to hate Nintendo fans. They're just, you guys are insane. I hate you guys. You're crazy. You have the worst takes ever. Okay, we need to move on from this. Next up, Pikmin 1+2. So in the February 2023 Direct, Nintendo actually only had one new announcement, and that came in the form of Metroid Prime Remastered, which was a shadow drop. How cool is that? That was crazy. That was like uncharted territories. They'd never done anything like that before. It was super cool. And so, you know, we get to this June Direct, and, you know, I feel like as I was watching them, you know, start to talk about Pikmin, I, like, willed it into existence, right? Like, all the Pikmin fans were all like, come on, Miyamoto, you know you want to put Pikmin 1 and 2 on the Switch, right? Like, we gotta have the whole series. And just seeing them, you know, show Pikmin and Pikmin 2's title screen, and then, you know, being like, it's on Switch today, bro, it just felt so good. I adore Pikmin 1 and 2. These are some of the best games Nintendo has ever made. They're like a comfort food game, right? Like, I can play these as much as I want forever, and I'll always love them. And so, just getting these shadow dropped was so cool. And although this didn't really pan out, I actually started to wonder after this Direct if Nintendo would start doing GameCube shadow drops with each Direct, right? Because we got Metroid Prime Remastered, then we got Pikmin 1+2, and I was thinking, hey, we finished, you know, the Mario Kart DLC, we actually hadn't finished it by now, but we were coming to the end of it. We finished the Smash DLC. Maybe this was kind of like the next thing to, you know, drip feed and keep people engaged and be like, oh, what will they do next? That didn't really happen, but, you know, yeah, Pikmin 1-2, that was awesome, getting them right there. I remember I had work, and as soon as I got back, I just immediately fired these up and played them a ton, and I love them. You guys gotta buy Pikmin 1+2. Okay, well, if Breath of the Wild got a sequel, then why not give the other 2017 Switch launch title a sequel in Everybody 1+2 Switch? This game is already lost media somehow. Like, I guarantee you, in 20 years, there's gonna be all these videos on YouTube that are like, the Nintendo Switch game they don't want you to know about, right? Like, there's probably already videos like that. This is such an obscure title. I remember, like, a year before it was released, there were rumors that Nintendo was making a sequel to 1-2 Switch, but apparently it tested so poorly internally that there was actually, like, petitions against corporate to say, like, we should not release this game. It will damage our brand. And after it's been released, has it damaged Nintendo's brand? Honestly, no. I feel like Everybody 1-2 Switch gets a lot of unwarranted hate. Look, you don't have to like 1-2 Switch, right? Like, these aren't even really video games. They're more like social, digital board games, right? Like, it feels kind of like a digital extension of something like charades or some sort of social get-together game, more so than like a traditional video game. It's hard to perfectly describe them. but everybody 1-2 Switch is just more 1-2 Switch. I don't know, like, I played it, it was fun for a while. I think it could be fun with groups, but it's not like offensive. It's just more 1-2 Switch, and you know, maybe that in and of itself is offensive, but I don't know, man. I thought it was just whatever. I didn't think it was bad. I remember like a couple of weeks after the game came out, me and my siblings went to Japan, and we were at Nintendo Osaka, and they were demoing the game there, and it was just kind of hilarious to play this with the Nintendo employees, because they were like trying to get everyone so into this game, and I felt like nobody was really getting that hyped about it at the store. So me and my brother were kind of overcompensating. We were like, let's go, you know, like the crazy Americans in the store. But it was funny. A lot of people were taking videos. I don't know, maybe we're famous on Japanese TikTok now. I don't know. I'm not a social media guy anymore. But okay, I'm getting way off track. All right, next up in July, Pikmin 4. The game that I had been waiting over a decade for, as had every other Pikmin fan. And it was sort of like this white whale, right? Like, it was sort of confirmed in 2015, but like then it just never really materialized into anything. And then 2022 September Direct comes around and they announce it. So, did it live up to the 10-year wait? Well, in my opinion, I like Pikmin 4 a lot. I really do, but, and this might be a hot take, I actually think it's the worst Pikmin game. And I've thought about this a lot. I have a lot of thoughts about this. I will also make a video about this game later on, because it's such an interesting game to talk about. On the one hand, I really appreciate the game's ambition, right? Like, this is the biggest Pikmin game by far. And I think that's so cool. They really tried to just cram it with as much content as possible. And it doesn't even necessarily feel all like bloat either. Like, it does feel like they actually tried with a lot of the different content in this game. But I don't know, man. I have a few issues. I think the overworlds are extremely forgettable. I think it's so dumb that you can only have 3 Pikmin types out at a time. Ochi, he's cool, but he kind of breaks the game as well. I also think that the multiplayer is just embarrassing after Pikmin 3. I mean, look, it's one thing if they want to keep the campaign just to single player again, that's fine. But Dandori Battle is just terrible, man. Like, you cannot go from Bingo Battle, one of the best multiplayer modes in any video game ever, to Dandori Battle. It's so bad, man. Like, the stages suck, the rules suck, the camera perspective sucks. It just sucks. It's terrible. I never want to see that trash again. And then, like, the story is weird. I don't like how they're kind of retconning the Pikmin, I guess, like, timeline, which I don't know. That's kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm more a freak for caring about the Pikmin timeline, but it is weird. It's like this game is sort of like, it's sort of pretending that Pikmin 2 and 3 just like didn't happen, which I don't really like that, because I love Pikmin 2 and 3. I really hate the new characters also. It feels like a DI checklist. It feels like a bunch of losers that have zero personality, nothing interesting to say. I don't care about them at all. I have a lot of problems with Pikmin 4, but there's a lot of good things too. The dungeons are great. I'm so glad they brought the dungeons back, and I do think for the most part they were able to recapture that sort of nostalgic mystery that the Pikmin 2 dungeons had, right? There's this very unique appeal and intrigue behind the dungeons in Pikmin 2. I think that comes down to the tile sets they use, the music, the lighting, and just like kind of how they place things. I don't know, it created a very interesting atmosphere, and I do think for the most part they were able to maintain that, and even in some instances outshine it. So yeah, that was a lot. I have problems with this game. I think that a Pikmin 4 Nintendo Switch 2 edition could alleviate a good chunk of them, but I don't think this game could ever, it'll never be my favorite Pikmin. It might be able to beat Pikmin 1 and be my third favorite, but I think 2 and 3 are better, right? They try to appease Pikmin fans of both styles, because Pikmin 1 and 2 are more about replayability. They're kind of these shorter campaigns that are all about really mastering the levels, and it is a ton of fun. Like, they're really well crafted levels for you to explore, great puzzles, great bosses, and just kind of like this really tight presentation and experience, whereas Pikmin 2 is much bigger with dungeons and, you know, kind of a more, there's not really a strict time limit, it's more, you know, leisure, all that stuff. I love Pikmin 2, that's kind of my preferred style Pikmin, but I also love Pikmin 1 and 3, and I think Pikmin 3 does the linear time limit approach the best, while Pikmin 2 still does the more, I guess, open-ended adventure better. So I don't know, it feels like it tried to appease both people and it kind of came short on both ends. So I have problems with this game, but it is really good still, and it's awesome that it was able to sell so well and kind of propel the Pikmin series into new heights, I guess, from a recognition standpoint. So hopefully Pikmin 5 comes out sooner rather than later. I do think that is going to happen. I think Nintendo they're locking in on Pikmin. I think this is going to be something we see more often now. But yeah, okay, moving along, October. Wow, that is a huge gap. I guess technically the physical version of Pikmin 1 and 2 came out in September, but geez, man, 3 months. That's kind of crazy. Detective Pikachu Returns. This game, I don't have it. I have nothing to say about it. But I do have a lot to say about the next 3 titles. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. For over a decade now, people had been very much complaining that the new Super Mario Bros. Games were just a very shallow, kind of hollow imitation of Mario. Well, not hollow, it's not that they were bad, it's just that they were extremely sterilized. They were very safe, very generic Mario. And look, that's not bad, right? Like, generic Mario is still fun, and it does kind of have this very, you know, turn your brain off and just, you know, smile at the screen sort of appeal. And I like that, right? Like, I do like the new Super Mario Bros. Games, but they just feel very, very safe. And so, for a long time, people had been wanting 2D Mario to try something different. And I feel like with Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Nintendo finally crafted a 2D Mario game with the same creative ambition that they make the 3D games with. And that makes sense because a good chunk, well, I don't know if it's a good chunk, but some of the 3D Mario development studio actually came and helped make this game. So that's really cool, and I don't know how many people really know that, but you can read about it on the Nintendo website interview. So anyways, did they succeed? Oh yeah, I adore Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I've beaten this game like 4 times already, 100%. This is a classic. This is the 2D Mario Odyssey. I freaking love this game, but I have to say, again, I feel like despite this game directly addressing a lot of the desires that fans have had for a while, all of these freaking negative IQ Nintendo YouTubers come crawling out of their basements and they have their video essays ready. Mario Wonder sucks, you know, like, I actually love New Super Mario Bros. What the frick is going on with you guys? Like, you guys are crazy. You don't have any frame of reasoning. You just kind of say things and then you don't even actually think about what they mean, or you don't even think about the actual design process of these games. It's so cringe, man. Like, I swear, the more I see these Nintendo fans, the more I want to distance myself from all of them. I hate you guys, seriously. Mario Wonder is a banger game. It's so fire. Like, the level design is peak. I love that there's actually a theme with every level, and there's unique obstacles, unique tile sets, unique elements or objects that really bring each level to more of a handcrafted feel and standard, as opposed to the kind of like level editor vibes of the new Super Mario Bros. Games. I love the badges. I really love the music in this game. They hit it out of the park. It's a bunch of great new songs. The multiplayer's fun. There's some collectibles. Like, I don't know. I have nothing bad to say about this game. It's a masterpiece. I know people hate on the bosses. I don't care about that. I think that's, like, fine. I don't know. I'm like, dude, it's still so fun. Like, I don't know. I think that's a little crazy. But if they were to make a Switch 2 edition and they wanted to, you know, maybe go back and add some more unique bosses, I think that'd be pretty cool. That could help make it better, but I don't think it's holding the game back. Anyways, yeah, that's crazy, man. 3 blockbuster Nintendo games this year, right? Zelda, Pikmin, and Mario. But we actually got 2 more games. I should make a video about Mario Wonder. Okay, sorry, I'm ranting. We got 2 more games I absolutely adore. WarioWare Move It. So, after the atrocity that was WarioWare Get It Together in 2021, I was like, bro, hang it up. WarioWare is finished. They will never get me back, and they got me back with the next one. This is the WarioWare, guys. If you were disappointed by Get It Together, this is the one you need to get to. WarioWare Move It is just like everything you love about these games. It's so wacky, quirky, charming, creative, and just like so random, but not in like a, oh, that was so random kind of way. More just like, dude, how did they even come up with this stuff kind of way? I love it. It is just filled with these great ideas, these great creative mini games that make awesome use of the Joy-Con, by the way. It's kind of funny, right? Like, it took us until almost 8 years to get a party game that I think truly utilizes the Joy-Con in a good way. Because like Mario Party kind of used them, but it stuck to more traditional controller mini games, which is fine for the most part. So yeah, finally we got one, and they did an incredible job. Unfortunately, this game is still underground, and I don't know if it'll ever see the light because it was kind of sandwiched between two bigger Mario games. I don't know if it sold very well. I don't think so because it never made the million seller list Nintendo has. But for real, you guys gotta buy WarioWare Move It. It is so freaking good. This is what WarioWare needs to be. Okay, and earlier in the video, I teased how Nintendo had another remake coming out this year, back when I was talking about Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, and we have arrived to that game. That is Super Mario RPG. Man, I never expected they would have remade this game, because prior to this, the Mario RPG series, all of them were in a very, very terminal condition. It was like, they're dead. Like, they're never coming back. Paper Mario had just resigned itself to be this very basic, you know, not even really an RPG series anymore. Mario and Luigi, the developers, were dead. So that series seemed like it was basically gone. And then Mario RPG, of course, like they never made a new one since the original. But then seemingly out of nowhere, Nintendo just decided to go gangster mode on us, and they made a remake for Mario RPG. In the next Direct, they announced a remake for Thousand Year Door, which I'm kind of spoiling. But then in the next Direct, they announced a new Mario and Luigi. So like out of nowhere, they just decided, okay, Mario RPGs are good again. And it was just awesome. It was so surreal as somebody who grew up with all these games and has kind of been there through this journey of the golden age and then the dark age. It's like, oh my gosh, we are so back, and back indeed we are, because this is a perfect remake. This is right up there with Link's Awakening. This is how you remake a game. It maintains everything you love about the original, except for the Cloud Girl's boobs moving when you jump on her, so kind of an L. But other than that, it is so freaking good. The music is great, the visuals are great, the gameplay is awesome, the menus are super clean and snappy, it's super respectful to the original, but it builds upon it in very smart ways that don't detract or humiliate the original, but rather just kind of, you know, reverently upgrade it to the modern standard of gaming. And I love that. That's what remakes should be. I don't need a full-on reimagining. I don't need you to cut all this stuff out that might be problematic today or whatever. No, just give me the game I played before, and if you want to make it look a little nicer, that's great. So Super Mario RPG, fantastic game, very, very charming. There's just a great story, a bunch of great characters, and, you know, just like a lot of fun locations to explore in this adventure. It's not very long. It's like you can beat the whole campaign in, I don't know, probably like 7 to 12 hours. But it's so worth it. Like, you will replay this game. And that's the thing, right? It's not even about the quantity of time. It's the quality of that time. And the quality is just like at an 11 out of 10 all the way through. So I love this game. Y'all gotta check it out. Okay, and finally, we come to the last two games of the 2023 going into 2024 7th year of the Nintendo Switch life. Another code, Recollection. I own this game. I've not played it yet, but I think it's very cool that, you know, Nintendo just randomly decided to remake these obscure DS and Wii games, so that's cool. And then Mario vs. Donkey Kong, a full-on remake. It's kind of like I was just talking, this is a great remake. I never played the original, but it seems like it basically maintains everything of that game, but just looks nicer. I know some people kind of were iffy about the new music. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think either of them sound that good. It's just kind of like, I don't know, like it's a directionless song, right? There's not a strong melody. The new one is like kind of like studio jazz in a way, or cafe jazz, but it's not even like that good though. I don't know. It's kind of whatever. I was kind of like, bummed by that. I was hoping that this would have like some really chill kind of cafe jazz with some great chord progression and stuff, and it's just kind of whatever. So I don't know. It's a really great game for handheld play though, right? Like I played this in handheld all the time because the levels are so bite-sized. You can just kind of, you know, pick it up, go through a world in like 10 minutes. Well, I don't know, maybe it's more like 20 minutes, but you can very quickly go through it and you can make progress and feel good. It's a great game for handheld. $50, maybe a little steep. I think it's fine, but if this was like $30 or $40, I think it would be a pretty easy recommend from me. If you like puzzle platformers, then I'd totally check it out. Or if you just want a more chill Mario game, I'd also recommend it. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the 7th year of the Nintendo Switch. One heck of a year, man. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I think this is the best year of the Switch. Even better than 2017 and 19 and 22. All other great years, but man, they went so hard this year. We had 3 massive releases, and I know Pikmin 4 maybe doesn't have the same sales presence as Zelda Tears of the Kingdom or Mario Wonder, but that was make no mistake about it, that was like a full-on AAA Nintendo game. And then we got a lot of other fun, smaller things to supplement it, right? We got the WarioWare Move It, we got Mario RPG, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the Pikmin 1 and 2 ports or very light remasters, another Code, which I haven't played but seems cool, Bayonetta, which again I haven't played but seems cool. Like really the only 2 games I'm looking at here that I'm kind of like whatever about are Advance Wars and Detective Pikachu. And maybe everybody wants to Switch. But anyways, I think it's a really good year. Like, I don't know. I like it. I like that the re-releases this year were not just Wii U ports, right? Like 3 of these were full-on remakes, Advance Wars, Mario RPG, and Mario vs. Donkey Kong. And then, well, actually 4, because another Code. Yeah, I forgot about that game, just like everybody else did. And then Pikmin 1+2, I mean, come on, that's just a fan favorite game right there. So, like, I'll take that in any form. So, yeah, it was a great, incredible, historical year. And the Switch saw a bit of an inflated sales year, right? Like, it was trending downwards, but I think due to Tears of the Kingdom, the Mario movie, Nintendo World opening up in the USA, and Mario Wonder, it kind of like spiked again through this year. So we got up to 141.32 million units sold. That is crazy. At this point, I think a lot of people were like, oh frick, is the Switch actually going to become the best-selling system of all time? Well, let's dive right into 2024 to figure out if it managed to accomplish that in this year. The 8th year of the Nintendo Switch. Holy frick, man, this thing is old. It is. Before some freak in the comments tells me the Game Boy was longer, I know, but this is like basically the longest a Nintendo system has ever been supported, right? And we were still getting a ton of games pumped out. Like, it wasn't like Nintendo just gave up, right? Even in this 8th year, we got 10 game releases. That's a lot. So let's just go through them. First off, in March, we got Princess Peach Showtime. Now, I actually talked briefly about this in my top 5 games of 2024, but basically I thought, you know what, it is a very simple game, but I don't think simple immediately equals bad, right? Otherwise, Kirby would not be a great series because most of the Kirby games are pretty simple. This game is simple, but I think it is very charming. What it lacks in depth, it makes up for in heart. There is just so much, you know, of those cute and lovable Nintendo moments that really no one else makes. I thought the music was pretty great. The gameplay was a little shallow. It could probably use a little bit more depth if they decided to make a sequel, but overall, I thought it was like a very solid 7 out of 10 game. I really have no complaints with it. I got more than I was even bargaining for when I went into it. Okay, next up, Endless Ocean Luminous. So I actually made a full video review for this game you can check out. So I'm just going to go to the next game, which I really need to make a video for, but Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door. Bro, if you were to tell me, like, seriously, any time before the September 2023 Direct where they announced this, that Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door would get a full-on remake, and not like a crappy remake where they take out all the soul, they replace all the partners with toads, you know, all that stuff, but like just an honest, full-on remake. I would have never believed you. And you know why? Because for decades, well, not decades, like a decade, there had been a ton of leaks about this game getting a remake, whether it was on the 3DS or the Wii U or even earlier in the Switch's life. None of them came true when they were hot in the press cycle. And like, this game is just, it is the antithesis of everything modern Paper Mario has become. Modern Paper Mario is obsessed with shoehorning in these gimmicks or gameplay mechanics or whatever at every turn just to be different, right? And then Origami King, bro, I said this before, I hate that game for so many reasons, because it feels like they somewhat admitted that the older Paper Mario games were better, so they tried to kind of walk back a bit and, you know, follow in the footsteps of the greats, but they didn't want to go all in. They were like, well, we still need to be different, and so it's like you just made it even worse, because at least with Color Splash, they went all in on making something original, and I can actually respect it for that. But with Origami King, it was like they were too insecure to fully embrace something different. So they tried to kind of appease the older fans, but yet they didn't want to go all the way back and give us a new game in the traditional gameplay style. So it's just a huge mess. It's right. It's like you're not really pleasing anybody at that point. And so I don't know. I was kind of just ready to give up on Paper Mario. It was a great trilogy, and then there were just some weird games that came out afterwards that used the Paper Mario name. But all of a sudden, we're getting the 1,000-Year Door, a full-on remake, and also the first time they've ever had 2 Paper Marios on one system, which I guess kind of makes sense considering that, you know, they have a cadence of 4 years in between releases. But I don't know, I just thought that was kind of cool that, wow, we're getting 2 on one system, and the second one is actually good, and it's not even just good, it's a masterpiece. Paper Mario the 1,000-Year Door is arguably my favorite game of all time. I've said this in a few other videos at this point, but I kind of have this pool of ever-shuffling titles that are in contest for my favorite game of all time title, right? Like, there's like 7 of them, maybe 8 of them. That's just like, I can't really choose which one's my favorite. It's just the day of the week, it'll be a different game, any day of the week. And this is definitely up there. I adore this game for so many reasons. I really got to make a video on this. I don't want to be one of those cringe video essayists, but like, dude, you know, again, without getting too hyperbolic, I honestly attribute a lot of who I am right now and my own approach to creation to this game. This game had such a monumental impact on me when I was a kid, when I first played it, and I've always played it throughout my whole life, and so it's just kind of like, it's kind of magical to have a full-on remake, and it was so good. They didn't ruin anything. Well, I mean, okay, there's like a few small things. I won't get into them, but I have a few small reservations with this remake, but it is by and large just a massive, pure fan service treat, and it does everything and more I could have ever wanted. It's a masterpiece. Just buy this game, bro. Buy this game, then buy it for your friend, then buy it for your cousin, then buy it for your boss, buy it for everybody. Dude, I have bought in this game 6 times. I downloaded it on the Japanese eShop the soonest I possibly could so I could play it before everyone else in America. I was playing that bad boy at like 10 a.m. on Wednesday, right? Like almost a whole day before it was actually to be released in the USA. And then I bought the physical copy the day after. Then I bought one for one of my friends, one for my sister when she got married. Yes, that was my wedding gift to her and her husband. Hey, you know what? It's a good gift, right? If they ever get in a fight or if they ever need something to bond over, boom, there you have it, Paper Mario. I got it for another friend. I bought a Japanese physical copy when I went over there. So what? That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 copies I've bought of this game. Because why? I want to send a message. It's not about the money. It's about the message. And the message is, I want good Paper Mario, bro. Like, I will pay for it. I want it. So please, Nintendo, take my sacrifice of money and make a good Paper Mario game. Okay, anyways, let's go on to another game. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD lost all the aura from the title alone. Like, come on. Dark Moon was so cool. I know they're trying to, you know, conform all these titles together because it's called 2 in Europe and Japan. Frick you guys, bro. Dark Moon was so cool. That is a great name, and it's just kind of lame that it's 2. And you know what bothers me the most? They put the giant 2 underneath the logo of Luigi's Mansion when it should have been horizontal. It should have been next to it. It could perfectly snuggle in right next to the logo, but they put it underneath it. It looks hideous. And you know what? Maybe that lack of, I guess, thought is kind of indicative of this entire remaster. It's so basic. It is literally just Luigi's Mansion 2 run through some sort of HD upscaling emulator and put onto Switch 2. I mean, hey, it works. I think Luigi's Mansion 2 is a pretty good game. It's like a solid 7 out of 10. So like I can't complain, but it's just like, I don't know. This is just such a boring remaster. And to go from Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door to this, it's like, wow, that is really the duality of Nintendo re-releases. And you know, not everything needs to be a full-on remake. You know, I am okay with remasters, but it's just kind of like, bro, this is just yikes. And I mean, okay, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD and 3 are both $60. If I catch you buying Luigi's Mansion 2 HD before you bought Luigi's Mansion 3, bro, we are throwing fists right there. It is gonna be bloody. It's gonna be brutal. I don't know if that's going against YouTube's terms of service, but if it is, I'm not even making money off this anyways. Okay, next up, in July, a game that went totally under the radar of like everybody, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. I made a full video review for this game as well, so you can check that out on my channel. But yeah, we'll just go right along to another game that I really need to make a video for, Emio the Smiling Man. So I said this in my top 5 games of 2024 video, but I actually, I was kind of a visual novel hater, that genre. I hated it for a while. Doki Doki was cool, and it was fun to play with the boys back in high school, but outside of that, I was like, dude, reading? That's the gameplay? Like, come on! I'm playing games to escape reading. But, you know what? I have since matured a little bit, and I've come to appreciate visual novels a lot. Over the summer, in June, it was like right after I beat Paper Mario Thousand Year Door 100% for the second time. I went right to Ace Attorney Trilogy. Oh my gosh, those are like some of the best games ever made. I love Ace Attorney. It's so good. I loved it so much that I was like, well, dang, Nintendo made a visual novel a couple years ago. I should try that out. And wouldn't you know it, all of this lined up perfectly with when Nintendo started teasing the mysterious new game called Emio, which of course went on to be a new Famicom Detective Club game. And first off, I just think it's so cool that they even did this. Like a new Famicom Detective Club game in 2024. How cool is that, right? So this game it's a masterpiece. It is. It truly is. I've played it 3 times now. I played it by myself, and I played it with different groups of friends in the other 2 playthroughs. And look, some people might complain that the menu system is a little archaic, and I admit it is kind of difficult to explain to people. Like, I always have to tell people, oh, you actually need to talk to them multiple times as if you were really there, right? You know, you won't just talk to them once. You might want to talk to them multiple times. That's kind of how I try to frame it, but it's kind of confusing, and I will not deny that. With that said, though, it's hardly worth getting in the way of experience this peak fiction, man. I mean, talk about an incredible story. The voice acting is great, the visuals are gorgeous, the music is incredible, and it's really just the story, man. The story is immaculate. This is one of the best stories Nintendo's ever made. And also, something I realized, I think this is maybe the first internally developed Nintendo game that is M-rated. I know Nintendo has published M games before, and I know that they did collaborate with Mages to do this new entry, but I think this is the first time that an internal Nintendo series got the M rating, so that's kind of interesting. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, you nerds. Okay, after this, we got The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, another game that I really need to make a video for, but Good golly gee, this is a great game. I had a few worries about it going into it, but they were basically all erased right away. It is so good. This game is full of charm. The world is great and a ton of fun to explore. It's really well designed too. There's great puzzles scattered all throughout the overworld, and then there's some cool caves that have little challenges. I love the ecosystem. It's super creative, and I think it was a brilliant way to kind of marry the open air Zelda progression from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom with the traditional Zelda progression of everything prior to those two games, 2D and 3D included. This is the best mixture of the two genres yet. So if you're somebody that's kind of been like, I'm not too sure how I feel about this modern Zelda, try this game out. I actually think you'll like it a lot. It is awesome. I don't know. Though my really only complaint with it is I think the music was kind of lame, but other than that, I was so fun. I'm actually really looking forward to replaying this on Switch 2 since it's going to have better resolution, and theoretically, because the game has an uncapped frame rate, it should just like always run at 60 or very close to that, given that the Switch 2 is like significantly more powerful than the Switch 1. Okay, next up, another game I want to make a video for. Wow, there's a lot of games in 2024 I want to talk more about, but Super Mario Party Jamboree. You know what? It's actually great that I haven't made a video for this game yet because there's a Switch 2 edition coming out in just like 2 months. And guys, this is the miracle game, right? Like Mario Party, just like Paper Mario, underwent this dark ages. Like it was from 2008-ish to 2018. It was like a decade long. I know some people don't like Super Mario Party, and it's not perfect, but I do think that was the first time that we could tell there was like a genuine effort being made to course correct and fix the series. Mario Party Superstars, just phenomenal game, no strings attached, just a great Mario Party. The only thing is, it's all remade stuff, right? So I think people were curious, what will the next original Mario Party look like? And boys, they did it. Mario Party is back. This game is just everything that you could have wanted from a new Mario Party game. It has the formula of the traditional Mario Party games, which we all love, but they've added in some clever and great new ideas to kind of build off that foundation in some really neat new ways. I love the ally system. It adds a whole new level of strategic depth. The boards are just perfect in this game. Like, this is the best collection of boards we have ever gotten in a Mario Party game. Even the side modes are a ton of fun in this. Like the Rhythm Kitchen is fun. The Bowser, I forgot the name of it, but the one where you're like fighting against a giant Bowser is fun. Koopathlon is like a perfect side dish to the main Mario Party mode. It is so fun. It's actually, I don't know how many people know this, but it was actually based off of a 3DS Mario Party game called Mario Party Island Tour. Had a mode called Coinathlon. So there's your Did You Know gaming fact of the day. Dude, this game is just, it's so great, man. It is peak Mario Party, and I can't wait for the Switch 2 edition because it looks like it's just going to get even more peak. So I'll probably make a video on it around then. Okay, woo, my voice is going out. I have been talking for a while. But next up in November, we got Mario and Luigi Brothership, the long-awaited return to the bros, and I have to say, I really liked this game. It kind of got some fairly mixed reception when it was released, right? Like, I think the famous example is IGN, who I don't even know why people listen to game reviewers anymore, but at least like the corporate game reviewers, like these guys are so out of touch with actual gamers. So I don't really care what they have to say about it, but it is kind of a big deal when a Mario game scores lower because Mario usually always gets like 7s or higher. So I guess that's why it was a bit of a story. I played it, dude. This is like, I don't know. I'm not a huge Mario and Luigi guy. I need to preface what I'm about to say with that. I played all of the games. I've beaten some of them. I don't know. I think that, Paper Mario has much better world design, characters, story, and I enjoy the badge system so much in the Paper Mario games. I also think the music is generally better, at least in the first 3 for sure. And I think what Mario and Luigi really has going for it is the combat. It is super fun, right? Like, it's very snappy. very responsive. The Bros moves are super fun. They have these great animations to go along with them. But I feel like outside of the combat, it's good, but it's not like super impressive, right? Like it's just kind of like a standard JRPG. But I have to say, I think in this game, it was better. I really liked the island system they had where you kind of went around to each island. It sort of gave me like Mario 3D World vibes, like where you had each island was sort of like a level in 3D World. Like it's this little self-contained 3D challenge and area for you to explore, find secrets, complete, and then go to the next one. It's kind of satisfying. Or Wind Waker, right? Like I feel like that progression system was very satisfying, and I think that complements the battles really well because you're always kind of like moving in the overworld now. There's always things for you to discover, new areas for you to go to. There's puzzles, there's fun characters and side quests. Like, I don't know, I thought it was really good. Overall, I would say, this is my potentially hot take, it's probably my favorite Mario and Luigi game. I don't know, I really liked Dream Team, and I really liked Bowser's Inside Story, so maybe I need to replay those two again to kind of, you know, refresh to see what I really feel. But I loved well, maybe love's a little too strong. I really liked Brothership. I think it got some kind of unwarranted hate. I don't even think the intro dragged for that long, which I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it takes forever to get going. I didn't really feel that way, honestly. I thought it was like pretty clear where the game was going from only like 20-30 minutes into it. But yeah, okay, woo! Oh my gosh, I'm actually getting lightheaded. Okay, the last game on our list is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. This is like the 5th time this game's been re-released. Like, I don't know, man. It's fine. It's just a worse version of Tropical Freeze in every way. It's like a very low effort remaster. It's like, I don't know, bro, if you really want some Donkey Kong, if you're craving some DK action, I mean, go for it. But I don't know, it's just Donkey Kong Returns again. And they messed up the multiplayer, or I guess it was already messed up on the 3DS when I saw a video about it. But like, I was trying to play this with my brother, and now it's like the way that the platforming works, when you jump on an enemy, they just instantly die. So that the kind of the platform aspect of them, right? Because a big part of this game is bouncing off of enemies onto other platforms. You can't do that in 2 players now because the enemies immediately die, so their platform hitbox also vanishes. So yeah, let's just say kind of an L. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, Donkey Kong Returns, it's a great platformer. I don't know, I'm hating on it just to be quirky. But with all that said, we have finally come to the end of my Switch retrospective series as we build up the weeks until the Switch 2. Now, I've thought about this, and although I'm done making these weekly videos, at least these weekly retrospective videos, I think once we have truly exhausted every first-party release from Nintendo on the Switch, we already know there's 2 next year, at least 2, with Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven, but I suspect we're going to have quite a few more, and I even could see us getting Switch games until 2028, honestly, which I know is crazy, but like, I don't know, I think this is going to stick around for a while. I will compile all of these videos together, and I'll do a director's cut where I go in and add any games I might have missed. I'm going to talk about, you know, like hardware revisions as well, like the Switch OLED or the Switch Lite. I'm gonna like just go into more depth about certain games and maybe more about like the sales and all that stuff for each respective year. I'm gonna make a big boy Switch retrospective single video once we're truly done with the Switch. So that might not be for a couple of years, but that is my plan. And until then, you can rewatch all of these, but it was fun to look back at all this. The Nintendo Switch is, in my opinion, the best system ever made. There are problems you can point out to with it, right? Like, it's not like everything was perfect, but I don't really think any system ever would be. That being said, Nintendo they were constantly bringing their S-tier game to this system, right? Like, there were just so many all-time classics here. 2017, Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. Those are the modern Ocarina of Time and Mario 64. They are classics, right? 2018, we get Smash Ultimate. 2019, we get Fire Emblem Three Houses, Luigi's Mansion 3, Yoshi's Crafted World. 2020, we get freaking Clubhouse Games, my boy, Clubhouse Games. 2021, we got all these cool random remakes like the Famicom Detective Club games. We got a new Pokemon Snap. We got Mario Party Superstars, right? 2022, we got Pokemon Legends Arceus, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade 3, Splatoon 3. 2023, we get Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4, Mario Wonder, remakes for crazy games that we never would have expected, like Mario RPG, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, and so many others. We got an incredible original 2D Zelda game and Mario Party at the end of the Switch's, purely dedicated life, right? Before we get the Switch 2 with Mario Party Jamboree and Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. There's just I feel like this system proved that nothing is impossible for Nintendo. All of these notions and restrictions that we had in our minds about Nintendo, right? Like they would never do this. Nope, that's just not true anymore. They can and they will. And I think that was one of the greatest strengths of the Switch, is that there was so many surprises. And it wasn't just it wasn't a cheap surprise, right? It wasn't a shallow surprise that's like, oh, that's cool and we're done. Okay, maybe there were a few of those, right? Like Labo or maybe 1-2 Switch or some things like that. But a lot of these were truly well thought out surprises that came to us from a team of artisanal geniuses, right? Like from an artistic standpoint, from a technical standpoint, from everything. It felt like they were truly putting their all into crafting the best games they possibly could. And I feel like that's sort of where Nintendo as a company overall is at now. These guys are really concerned with making just truly premium user experiences. And that's why I do think we're going to start seeing, that's why these prices are getting higher, is because Nintendo is making premium experiences, right? And I'll get into my thoughts about the pricing on Switch 2 stuff maybe in another video, but I think that's just kind of that is Nintendo now, right? These guys are truly the best in the game, and they proved that multiple times during the Switch's lifespan. So with all that said, thank you Nintendo, thank you Nintendo Switch. I have a lifetime worth of memories with this system and with the games, and I am so excited for the future. I think that, Nintendo it's never been more fun to be a Nintendo fan than it was during the Switch era, and it was truly just such an inspirational comeback after they were struggling so hard during the Wii U era. It was so awesome to see that Nintendo still has it, and yes, people still want Nintendo. So anyways, this is getting a little bit grandstanding, so I should probably wrap this up. What was your favorite year and game from the Nintendo Switch life? I guess we're not technically over yet, but the Switch 2 is about to come out and things are going to change forever, right? That's going to be what everyone focuses on. And with that said, I guess just this is it, guys. This is the final week. We are so close to having the Switch 2, and I'm so excited, man. Bring it on. Give me Mario Kart World. I need to play that game. I'm super excited for Mario Kart World. I think that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are going to be the sleeper hits, right? No one's talking about those, but dude, those are going to be crazy. They look so good. It looks so good that I actually want to replay both of them. In fact, I'm committed to. And those are both 200-hour long commitments, right? It's not just a little thing, but they look so good that I'm I have to go back. There's all those free updates, which is awesome too. Welcome Tour, I know people are dogging on it. I'm actually kind of excited to see what that's like. It looks more interesting to me than 1-2 Switch did, and it's a fraction of the cost, so I'm excited for that. And then, of course, GameCube games on Nintendo Switch 2. That's so cool. So, yeah, man, it is an exciting time. I cannot wait for all this. But, again, I need to wrap this up. Like I said earlier, let me know your favorite Nintendo Switch gear and game in the comment below. Comment. Yes, I'm getting tired. Comments. And I will catch you guys later. Thank you for tuning in to this series. If you've been watching since day one, and by day one I mean the first installment of this mini-series, thank you. And maybe I'll do stuff like this again in the future. Until then, peace the frick out. Long live the Nintendo Switch. Joy-Con boys forever.